Nuestra Familia Regiment Commander Vincent Chente Gerald Garcia sat inside of a federal courthouse on June 7, 2022 in San Jose, California. A federal jury would convict him of multiple gang conspiracies that focused on over 10 removals within the Monterey County Jail from December 2012 through April 2014, showing just how much power the Nuestra Familia and someone like Vincent Chente Gerald Garcia truly holds.
And the indictment centers on the 7 attempted murders that took place within the Monterey County Jail.
My understanding is yesterday and today they were moved to federal custody, and where exactly the feds have them, I don't know.
14 members of the Nuestra Familia Salinas Norteno enterprise taken out from Monterey County, an area they considered a stronghold for the gang, according to a federal indictment released Thursday. Their alleged crime spree took place in 2012 and 2013. The indictment claims the men engaged in racketeering for the purpose of preserving the power, territory, reputation, and profits of their gang. Outside of jail, they committed robbery and drug dealing. But once inside jail, they didn't stop looking to expand their influence. They considered the Monterey County Jail a, quote, training ground for new members for their criminal organization. Johnny Soldier Boy Magdaleno was arrested as a result of the gang crackdown in 2013 called Operation Snake Eyes. He committed 2 robberies. He was sent to the Monterey County Jail after committing 2 robberies. He then went on to commit 2 attempted murders, also known as, quote, removals. A removal is when one of the gang members inflicts violence on another prison mate to either kill them or produce as much harm as possible, usually as a result of a gang violation. The indictment alleges the 14 gang members conspired to commit 7 removals altogether. One of the victims stabbed 21 times in the chest and back. In a statement about the indictments, Sheriff Steve Bernal said, quote, "We are proud to have partnered with our federal partners on this important investigation that will improve the safety of our entire community." Now, altogether, the investigation included the FBI, the California Department of Corrections, the Salinas Police Department, and the Monterey County Sheriff's Office. Dan, Aaron, back to you.
Christopher, thank you. If convicted, the defendants face up to life in prison. We begin tonight with several inmates now charged with trying to kill Monterey County Sheriff's deputies inside the county jail. With more on what happened, we go to Action News 8 reporter Felix Cortez, who's live outside the county jail in Salinas tonight. Felix?
Well, Aaron, that incident sent 3 deputies to the hospital after they were allegedly attacked by 5 inmates.
Chaos in K Block as a melee breaks out between inmates and sheriff's deputies inside the Monterey County Jail Sunday night.
We had 3 deputies who were injured, all received serious injuries, and were taken to a local hospital for treatment of those injuries.
It all started when deputies tried to stop one inmate from tattooing another. A struggle ensued and only got worse.
While this struggle was happening, we had 4 additional incarcerated subjects that actually jumped in and began attacking our deputies using their closed fists.
At one point, an inmate allegedly took a deputy's baton and started hitting them in the back and in the head. The inmate then threw the baton at another deputy, injuring them as well. 5 inmates now charged with trying to kill a deputy.
It gives you a feeling for how serious this was. You know, there's a significance to what has happened here. These individuals, without a doubt, tried to take the life of our deputies, and we're very grateful that that it didn't escalate to that level.
These are the 5 inmates charged with attempted murder, but it's the last one, Adam Villarreal, who appears to be in custody awaiting trial on murder charges. He's accused of killing Anthony Suarez 2 years ago and dumping his body on San Juan Grade Road.
So I can tell you that this unit is used to house some of our known gang members. It is one of our gang units.
Now, the 3 deputies who were injured in this incident have not been identified, but we were told that 2 are men and 1 is a woman. They have since been released from the hospital and are at home recovering. Reporting from Salinas, I'm Felix Cortez. Aaron, back to you.
I'm Ann Makovic at the Live News Desk. Following a huge gang bust that the FBI says took down the head of the snake of the La Nuestra Familia street gang in Northern California. Taking a live look in San Francisco right now, where federal agents just announced that they have charged 55 people, including 7 people in Northern California prisons, whom they describe as the governing body of the NF gang. They say they used a paramilitary structure to control thousands of gang members throughout 28 California counties. The crimes include racketeering, robberies, drug crimes, and murder.
These 7 individuals have, for years, led a violent and lucrative criminal organization from their prison cells. While the physical movement of this leadership was restricted by prison walls, the indictment alleges that their power and influence were not so constrained.
Among the Northern California gangs, La Nuestra Familia is accused of helping to run Norteño's, San Jose Grande, El Hoyo Palmas, and of the 55 defendants caught up in the federal bust, 12 were from Santa Clara County. This was all part of a 5-year multi-agency investigation, and it's not over yet. Len.
Salinas, a 6-month investigation has led to a major crackdown on gangs on the Central Coast. They called it Operation Snake Eyes, and they think not only did it result in a lot of arrests, they think it could have prevented a jailbreak. More from Action News reporter Felix Cortez. He's live tonight in Salinas. Felix?
Well, Dan, Operation Snake Eyes started off as a street-level drug investigation, but quickly turned into much more. And tonight, dozens of suspected gang members are behind bars.
This is as big a dent in the structure as we've seen in many years in Salinas.
A 6-month investigation called Operation Snake Eyes leads to the arrests of 45 suspected gang members accused of dealing drugs, guns, and wreaking havoc on the Central Coast. Brought down in the sweep, according to police, were shot callers for the violent Nuestra Familia gang.
We wanted to really focus on trying to eliminate that leadership within our communities. And throughout the course of this investigation, we were successful in being able to target a number of people that are influential in those positions and hopefully take them off the streets for a long time.
The investigation started off as a crackdown on drug sales in the Chinatown area of Salinas, but eventually turned into a huge dragnet and possibly prevented a jailbreak. That's where the police chief said these 3 men were headed. They're accused of shooting at police, and investigators say they were armed with a shotgun and AK-47.
We believe that information was credible. We believe that it's likely that there would have at least been an attempt on the Monterey County Jail to help effect an escape of individuals in the jail.
Sheriff said that highlights how ruthless and violent those arrested can be.
And they come from an organization of people who are violent, who are well armed, and who are not afraid to take on innocent citizens or law enforcement officers. So therein lies the real value of these major operations.
More than 300 federal, state, and local agents took part in Operation Snake Eyes. This investigation is still ongoing. More arrests may follow. Dan, Aaron.
All right. Thank you very much, Felix. All of those arrested are facing state criminal charges, but investigators say some could be looking.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Greenlit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. If you are new, welcome. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I encourage you to check out previous videos if you do like what you see and like what you hear. If you are a returning member, then you already know what it is. Leave a like, leave a comment, engage in some conversation. Hit that subscribe button. And once again, only do it, though, if you like what you see and like what you hear. Without you guys, I am nothing. April was a very successful month. I hope May is as successful. I'm a little bit behind on the uploads. I would have got one up yesterday. I am out of town for a friend's. I'm his best man at his wedding next month, so we're out of town doing the bachelor party thing. But I am here on about 2 hours of sleep. I'm upstairs in one of his guest bedrooms, and I am recording this because I am always thinking about this channel. And believe it or not, I'm always thinking about you guys. The comments motivate me. Really quick, I wanted to address something though, because I got some, and I don't mind. I love all the feedback. I can handle any kind of negative feedback at all. I just want to address a couple of things. So I had one comment that said, hey man, I went through and I watched like 5 or 6 of your videos, and you're using some of these same videos over and over and over again. Are you just doing filler? Are you just trying to make them longer? And the answer is yes and no. Okay. I want to make a good video, guys. I want them to be longer. But I also have new people that are constantly coming to my channel that may not have seen the previous video. No, it's not just filler. It is filler in the sense of I use them to make a good video, but it's not filler in the way that this comment kind of came at me as far as like I'm being lazy about it. I am not saying I am the best editor. I know my editing skills are basic at best. I know sometimes my voice bothers people. I know sometimes my volume control isn't the best, but lazy is one thing that I won't just kind of brush by, because I put a lot of effort into these. And it goes into the next comment I was going to talk about, but I am always of the thought that I am not fully established yet. I am constantly getting new people. I am constantly getting new comments. Yes, I have regulars. I love them. But with some of these gangs, there are certain clips that really do a good job, and I've gotten great feedback on people that love seeing the old news clips, so I'm going to continue to do it. If I get a lot of feedback saying, hey man, okay, you've used this one up enough, that's cool. I have no problem with it, and that's why I'm leaving or saying this, because I want you guys to comment down below. Are you getting sick and tired of it? Do you think I'm oversaturating it a little bit? If I am, guys, I'm going to change it up. If you noticed in this video today, I didn't use or repeat any of those old clips. I found the initial news story with our character, Vincent, Chente Garcia, and then I put in a couple videos of just the violence that continues to plague Monterey County Jail, the Norteno, the Nuestra Familia gang as a whole, a couple good news stories about them. Because that's another thing I've gotten with comments like, hey man, this has nothing to do with the story. It's like, yes, it does, because I'm giving you an idea of the level of violence, the level of power that someone like a Nuestra Familia wields. So just because it's not the exact story that we're talking about, it still is talking about the Nuestra Familia. Same thing when I cover a Norteno gang member, a Sereno gang member. In those old news clips, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I like them. When I watched old stories on videos on channels that I liked, I've told you guys, one of my biggest inspirations was a channel by the name of Pop-A-Lot. Please go check him out. He does an amazing job. He's much better than me. He's got an amazing intro, but he kind of is the first one I saw that did the kind of the intro, talking a little bit, and then would go into the news story. I think he has some music with his, but then it would go into the news stories about the person or the gang or whatever story he's covering, and then he talks again towards the end. I have no problem. I want him to get his credit and get his flowers. It absolutely inspired me to model my channel that way. But no, lazy is not anything. I just had to adjust it because it did. I can't lie. I'm human, man. Things are going to bother me. And I've worked very hard to find new videos and new content, but I am constantly thinking about the people that are here for the first time. And these ones that I have reused multiple times, they are so good and such good videos that if it is somebody's first time, I want them to see it. 100%, I want them to see it. Lastly, I got a comment or two comments like, hey man, you don't know nothing about, basically, don't be talking about addiction so much. And you don't know it was on the video I did a couple videos ago about the CDCR murder with the individual Matthew Perez who killed Jacob Kober. And yes, he is clearly under the influence of narcotics. And I had a couple comments, and one in particular that was telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about and they just stick with facts. Well, the facts are this, and I commented back to the individual. Jacob Perez had a conviction for a controlled substance within prison in 2016 and got an additional 2 years. All right, he had other drug-related charges throughout his time in the free world. And at the end of the day, this is my channel, and as a recovering addict, I do not pretend to know everything, but I have mugshots with those same eyes. That's the comment. The person that left the comment said, you don't know if you just got pulled out of bed. Yes, I do. I do. There's a difference between bedhead and I'm tired, and my eyes are pinned out, and I'm probably on heroin or Suboxone or some sort of an opiate or extreme downer. I'm just, and you guys comment down below. Again, this is why I bring it to you guys. You guys are my people. You guys are the people that continue to support the channel. You guys are ones who made me who I am. And again, if the person that left the comment or the other comment I just talked about a minute ago, this is not something where I'm like mad or upset. I just want to address it and explain my side of things. And I've commented to those people that said, no matter what, I appreciate you viewing it and leaving the comment, because by you commenting, it all helps me. At the end of the day, it all absolutely helps me. And I thank them for that. And I've always encouraged to have the conversation. The reason I brought it up before we jump into this is because I want to know what you guys think. Am I overusing some of the videos? And do I talk too much about addiction? I've gotten 95% positive feedback. I will never not talk about addiction. I will never not share parts of my story. I will never not share my thoughts, because I do believe that I have 100% the experiences at the worst of the worst to speak on these things. I have made it very clear. I was never a gang member. I was never a career criminal. I made criminal decisions and did things that weren't good based on my addiction. I was around Hispanic and African-American gang members, white gang members, but I do not fake the funk. I do not pretend to be somebody who I am not, because you will get sniffed out right away. So leave your comments down below. Tell me what you kind of think about that and what I just said. And let's jump right in this video. So this is an article from the CDCR's website with Vincent Chente Garcia, a Nuestra Familia Regiment Commander. He was 55 at the time of this conviction on June 7th, 2022. He was found guilty along with Jorge Jasso, another Nuestra Familia member. But Vincent Chente Garcia, he was 55. Jasso was only like 29. Jasso's from Soledad. Garcia is from Salinas. Salinas has a huge Norteno and Nuestra Familia presence. They're with the business, man. So let's read it right here. Nuestra Familia and Norteno members found guilty of gang conspiracies that included removals via stabbings of fellow gang members in the jail. And we're going to get into a breakdown of what a removal is. They are violent. The Nortenos do not play. When they go after you, they come after you hard. A federal jury convicted Vincent Chente, Gerald Garcia, and Jorge Jasso today of engaging. And is it Jasso or Jasso? I feel like a typical white boy butchering a name. Today of engaging in multiple conspiracies involving gang membership and gang violence, announced United States Attorney Stephanie M. Hines and Federal Bureau of Investigative Special Agent in charge Sean Reagan. The verdict follows a 3-week jury trial before United States District Judge Beth L. Freeman. Garcia, 55, of Salinas, and Jasso, 29, of Soledad, were charged along with 13 co-defendants on September 26, 2018, and are the last defendants pending in the case. At trial, Garcia and Jasso each faced 3 charges. 1, engaging in racketeering. It's a RICO charge. 2, engaging of conspiracy to commit murder in aid of racketeering. And 3, engaging in conspiracy to commit assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering. The jury convicted both Garcia and Jasso of all counts. So when the feds come knocking, and this is what they've been doing to break up these gangs and the stronghold that leaders like Vincent Chente Garcia had, because we're going to get into it here, but for a few years there, from like 2012 to 14 and 15, Vincent Chente Garcia was running all of Monterey County, in particular Monterey County Jail. He had a massive stronghold. The drugs, the violence, I guarantee you staff. And the last thing I'm going to say is in that comment, I had the guy go, why don't you talk about how staff brings it in? It's like saying, and it's like, that's where I get a little frustrated, because it's like, brother, if you've watched any of my other videos, I have fully addressed staff's responsibility in this. The CDCR in particular is a mess, but all across the United States, staff, dirty, corrupt correctional officers are why so many cell phones and so many drugs get in. I am well aware of that. I just, again, want to put that on the record. I am so aware of that, and that's why, again, I get a little frustrated, because it's like, I have said that numerous times. I am never on the side of the administration or the corrections officers. I want to make that very, very clear. Do I think there's good ones? Yes, I do. I 100% believe they're not all bad. You can't say they're all bad. It's just like cops. They're not all bad. And whether you like it or not, we need them. But there are a lot of dirty ones. I am well aware of that. And that's the last time I'm going to address it. So according to the evidence presented at the trial from December 2012 through April 2014, The defendants, Garcia and Jasso, were active members of the Nuestra Familia NF prison gang and its affiliated Norteno street gang. Garcia was the regiment commander for the NF in charge of all of Monterey County. Jasso was a Norteno gang member from Soledad. Norteno gang members pledged loyalty to the NF. Really quick, if you want to get a good breakdown of the Nortenos and the NF, go check out a guy, Renegade Media is the channel, 59J. He's an ex-NF Norteno gang member. Did a lot of prison time, put in a lot of work, and does a really good job of breaking it down and telling a really good history, much more in-depth than myself or some other channels do. So go check that out. Inside prisons and local jails, all members and associates of the NF work together to maintain the structure and follow the gang's rules. Any member in a Norteno housing unit who committed a serious violation of the rules was subject to, quote, a removal. Now, this is important. Pay attention to this. Excuse me. A removal was orchestrated by Norteno gang members and involved an organized attack upon the target. So they're going to find somebody that they're going to agree on. The higher-ups, someone like a Vincent Chente Garcia, is going to order this removal, order this hit first by it, and this is how it's going to go down. So they're going to involve it. They're going to find out, okay, this is the target. First, by at least one hitter coming up, stabbing the target, and followed immediately by a beating without weapons by at least, quote, 2 bombers. The beating inflicted maximum damage to the victim and will always cause a distraction that allowed time for the other hitters, or for the hitters that initially stabbed the victim, to hide weapons and clean up. It's a very well thought out process. It's very smart, and doesn't always work, but for what its purpose is, these guys are very, very good at what they do and extremely violent. And when they come for you, they come to take your head off, literally and figuratively. A removal was orchestrated by Norteno gang members and involved an organized attack upon the target. Okay, trial evidence showed that removals were approved in advance by the Norteno in charge at the facility upon learning of violations for members in the jail housing unit. The Norteno gang member in charge of said housing unit planned the removal. All members of the Norteno housing unit were aware of the removal process and were required to assist if requested. This is what we talk about, man. When things jump off, you better be down. You better be ready to put in work. And California is at the forefront of this when you talk about prison gangs and what you're expected to do if you're a gang member. This is how guys go in with 5, 6, 7-year bids and come out with life without parole, or don't come out, or life with the possibility after 25 years. If you are gangbanging, let's just use the NF or Norteños, someone like a Vincent Chente Garcia is going to come to you, or people under him are going to come to you, and you are going to be expected to carry out orders. And if you say no, you are going to be the next target of a removal. Other evidence demonstrated that the sale of controlled substances, both inside custodial facilities and on the street, was a central income producer for the gang. Norteno members, now check this out, smuggled controlled substances into Monterey County Jail, as well as other jails. And this is interesting, right? And sold the hard drugs to other inmates, but distributed marijuana solely to fellow Nortenos in custody. So basically it's like, and I be careful on my word choice, but this is where I have some respect for this kind of stuff. If you're a gang and you're a criminal element and you're like, we're going to be the best that we can be at what we do, you can't be fully loaded all the time. I mean, you can. You hear things about the Aryan Brotherhood, how they're like completely, they call it like the heroin brotherhood. They're completely strung out on dope. I watched interviews with Rene Boxer Enriquez. I watched one not that long ago on Hector Bravo's channel. Great channel. And he interviews him, and he basically says the most amount of drugs that he used in his life, whether it was prison or on the street, was while he was in the Pelican Bay SHU. Said he would overdose in his cell, right, from shooting up heroin, pass out, and all the guard would do is come by, kick the cell, and say, hey, man, don't die on my shift because you're going to cause me a lot of paperwork. Go check it out. I'm not exaggerating. They are everywhere. Drugs are rampant. But in here, you can tell, it's like, okay, we're going to be a little bit smart about this. We're not going to have all you strung out. We have respect for ourselves. We're going to carry ourselves a certain way. All we're going to do is smoke marijuana. You're going to sell the hard stuff to the other inmates. The evidence at trial focused on 10 removals within the Monterey County Jail between December 2012 and April 2014. Most of the removals occurred in the K-Pod, a cell block housing active Norteno members and associates exclusively. 3 removals occurred in the jail's main yard during the recreation period for inmates housed in the lockdown pods for Norteños. The defendant Chente Garcia, was identified by trial evidence as the leader responsible for approving these removals. Garcia was a longtime gang member who rose through the ranks to become a carnal of the NF prison gang in the 90s. He later became the NF Regiment Commander in charge of Salinas and all of Monterey County from at least 2012 through 2014. From May 13 through February 15, Garcia was incarcerated in the Monterey County Jail. Evidence showed that he was in charge of the entire jail for the NF, ordered multiple assaults and multiple murder attempts. He retained ultimate authority and could put fellow gang members, quote, on free status, clear them for rule violations, strip them of gang leadership or roles, and elevate others in leadership position. So he is the oracle. He is the all-seeing everything. He is the buck stops with him. And I want you guys to really think about that kind of power. And a lot of guys go, wow, these guys are in prison, it's nothing. But no, you are in full control. You've got, I guarantee, like we just said, you have staff members at your beck and call. You might even have women staff members, probably do have women staff members who like you, who you maybe have situations and opportunities to do things with. But you have these individuals, these gang members' lives in the palm of your hand, and you can elevate, bring someone down. You literally have the power of life and death. You can play God within these jails. And I have people that comment that go, ugh, oh yeah, great, cool, yeah, what? Oh yeah, great life. You're running things within a local county jail. It's like, and I get that. I'm not making fun of it. I get that. But I really want you guys to think about, even if it's in a Monterey County jail, the kind of power. And I've watched interviews, I'll go back to Renee Box Enriquez, how a lot of them, they get like drunk off the power and they become like abusive. They abuse the power. And the good ones, the ones that people look up to and respect the most, don't. They do things the right way. They stick to the rules. But there's ones that just become God. They think, I can do whatever I want. Excuse me. Jorge Jasso, according to the evidence, was a Norteno street gang member from Soledad who was housed in Monterey County Jail from May 2012 through September 2013. The evidence established that Jasso was an NF foot soldier that participated in murder attempts and assaults. He participated in the removal of a Norteno gang member on December 2nd, 2012 by performing the role of a bomber after others stabbed the victim. Jasso was involved in the removal of a second victim on February 25th, 2013, again acting as a bomber after the victim was stabbed. So he's a guy that's going to raise his hand and he's going to go. Right there, December 2nd, 2012. And then a couple months, 2.5 months later, he's going again, acting as a bomber. United States District Judge Freeman scheduled sentencing hearings for Garcia and Jasso on August 30th, 2022. Both defendants remain in custody pending sentencing. And they were obviously convicted on that article. They ended up getting sentenced on November 2nd, 2022. A judge sentenced a high-up leader of the prison gang, Nuestra Familia, to over 25 years in federal prison Tuesday after being convicted of multiple gang violence conspiracies he perpetuated while in Monterey County Jail, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Vincent Gerald Chente Garcia, 55 of Salinas, is the 14th defendant charged and convicted in the case, which involves racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder in the aid of racketeering, and conspiracy to commit assault with a dangerous weapon in the aid of racketeering. So he's booked, man. Feds. No joke. You're going to get, the BOP itself, I don't know if you guys really realize this, but the amount of federal prisons in the United States is not that big. I was watching something the other day. I try to consume as much content as I can to get different points of view, to get different information. And I forget exactly what channel it was on. Actually, you know what? It was a Vlad TV interview. He's interviewing a rap artist, Go Yayo. Go check it out. And he went to the feds for a while. And he talked about how actually small the Federal Bureau of Prisons is, and how once you get in there, everybody knows everybody. And the amount of federal prisons in the United States is only like 100 something. And basically this guy said that there's more prisons like in the state of California than there are all federal prisons in general. And I don't want to misspeak on that, but comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. And his point was that it's dangerous, and dangerous anywhere, but once you're deemed like no good within the feds, anywhere you go, you could go to, across the country, but you're probably going to know somebody. I just found that to be fascinating. And this is what these states are trying to do, because you have someone like a Vincent Chente Garcia, he's the top dog. It's like, what are you going to do with them? You've already got them on lockdown. You've already tried it. It's like, well, let's go federal and let's send his ass to West Virginia, or something. Just try to get him as far away from his people as he can. Doesn't mean anything's going to stop. He's still going to be able to communicate. He's still going to be able to do what he wants to do, but just try to make it a little bit tougher on him. So anyway, there you guys have it. Much love, much appreciation. Hope you guys have a great Sunday. And until next time, you already know what it is. Peace.